Hey friends, it's been a while. Remember me? I'm Grace and I'm a yoga teacher. And we're going to start real slow with a slow flow. Here we go. So, we're going to start off in a lying down position, so in Shavasana. And so you're welcome to find a position that works best for you. That could be arms and legs stretched out wide like a starfish. Perhaps you come into a different orientation, but find yourself into a position on your back that feels supportive. And if you have a blanket or a pillow, you may enjoy placing it under your head. You may enjoy placing some blocks under your knees or really any other type of position that feels supportive for you. Taking all the time you need, no rush, no hurry. Coming into the most perfect position that you need. Hatha Yoga Anushanam. Now begins our practice of yoga. Taking a little wiggle around here into your position, settling softer into lying down on your back. And just take a big breath in and give yourself a slightly bigger breath out. We'll do that again, breathing in a little more, breathing out. You are about to go on a journey. It is a journey through the layers of your own self. It is a journey through your life, through the worlds within and all around you. It begins here in your own body. It begins now, Atta, whenever and wherever you are. It is your own personal quest. Make yourself comfortable. But the journey is not short. It could take months, years, or lifetimes, but you have already chosen to go. You began long, long ago. You have been provided a vehicle in which to take this journey. It is your body and it is equipped with everything that you might need. One of your challenges on this journey is to keep your vehicle nourished, happy, and in good repair. So we begin our journey by exploring our vehicle. Take a moment to feel your body. Feel it breathing in and out. Feel your heart beating inside. Notice the moisture in your mouth, any food in your belly, the sensation of cloth on your skin. Explore the space that your body occupies, your height, width, weight. Finding the front and back, top, bottom, and sides. Begin a dialogue with your body so that you may learn its language. Ask your body how it feels, see if it's tired or tense, and listen to the answer. How does it feel about going on this journey? You have been given a vehicle for this journey, but it's not something you have, it's something that you are. You are your body. You are a body living a life in this physical world, getting up in the morning, eating, going to work, touching, sleeping, bathing, having all the interactions throughout your day, all the interchanges of your hands touching doors, steering wheels. But you are also more than just your body. Your body is the journey and is where you begin. It is your connection to the physical world, your foundation, the home of your dance. You are the place from which all action and understanding will arise and to which it will return. You are the testing ground of truth. You are the ground on which all things rest. You are the earth from which all things grow. You are here. You are solid. You are alive. You are the point from which all things begin. Words from On a Day of Judith and Wheels of Life. Let's take a full body stretch, reaching our hands and feet away from one another. Roll around through your wrists and ankles, maybe shake your head from side to side like you've just woken up. And then we'll curl into a little ball. Hug your knees towards your nose, squeeze your nose just a little closer towards your knees. Squeeze, squeeze a little tighter still. And then release your knees, dropping your feet down to the mat. Knees point up towards the sky. Drop your hands down to the ground right next to your hips, palms face towards the earth. And you may want to give your fingers or toes a little light drumming, just feeling how solid the earth is beneath you. As you inhale next, reach and stretch your arms up towards the ceiling. Continue to reach and stretch, touching the floor behind you. And then exhale when it's time. Reach and stretch your arms up towards the ceiling and drop them right back down to the ground next to your hips. Take that twice more. Inhale, reach and stretch fingertips up towards the sky. Continue to reach and stretch, maybe touching the floor behind you. Then exhale, sweep hands up, lower them down to the ground. One more just this way. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower. Good. Now let's bring our hands to our body. So one hand to our belly, one hand to our heart, dropping elbows down towards the ground. And if it feels okay, you can drop your knees in towards one another, just a little less strain on your outer hips and thighs. And then breathe here, expanding breath into one hand, then the next. Exhale, releasing your breath. And breathe in again. And if you can, breathe in and out your nose. If there's any constriction or congestion, you can breathe in any way that is available. Just notice what it feels like in your inhale. And maybe you're able to breathe in for 3 full counts. Breathing in for 3, 2, 1. And then see if you can match your exhale to those same 3, 2, 1 counts. And do that again, breathing in. 3, 2, 1. Breathing out. 3, 2, 1. And if 3 is difficult for you, try to breathe in for 2. And then hold your breath for that extra count. Build your capacity to breathe a little more. And then same with the exhale. See if you can stretch your capacity to release for those 3 full counts. One more just this way. Breathing in. 3, 2, 1. Breathing out. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Now drop our hands back down to the ground and lift your knees away from one another, pointing kneecaps back up towards the sky. Root through your hands, root through your feet. As you inhale next, roll up through your hips, roll up through your heart, coming into a bridge pose, hips towards the sky. And as you exhale, slowly lower your hips back down to the ground. Whole back comes back to the floor. Good, and we'll do that a few more rounds. Inhale, push down into your feet, roll up through your hips, roll up through your heart. That's it. Exhale, slowly roll back down. So now keep this going, adding in the steady breath. So breathing in, lift your hips for 3, 2, 1. Breathing out, lower your hips for 3, 2, 1. Take that twice more. Inhale, lift, and maybe you can breathe a little longer. Breathing in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it one more time. Match your inhale, whatever length you may have found. And keep your exhale just as it is. Well done, y'all. Now we'll pull both knees into our chest. This time lift head and shoulders off the mat. Hug knees towards nose, nose towards knees. And we can rock a little bit forward, back, side to side, just getting a sense of how we're holding this shape. And then we'll eventually rock ourselves up into a tabletop. And you can face whatever direction makes good sense for you. It may feel nice to slide a blanket or your pillows, whatever you have access to underneath your knees. Just giving yourself a little extra cushion and support. And then take time to figure out what version of a tabletop hands and knees works best for you tonight. That may look like walking your hands and knees wider apart, taking up more space if that's available. And then from here, we'll move a bit, shifting our weight forward, back, side to side. And just noticing what it feels like to move in our hands and knees. Notice how you're holding your weight, how you're holding our pressure. I know that you can adjust your stance at any time, right? Take up different space if that's what serves you best. You may be ready for some cat and cows. It can look like an inhale, drop your belly towards the floor, a little arch in your spine. Exhale, push down and through your hands, drop chin towards your chest, arch your spine up towards the sky. And we can keep this going, maybe coming back to our easy breath. Inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhales the same length. And just see what it feels like to move at the same inhale and exhale. And if the counting takes you out, maybe you can sing a song lyric, maybe you do ABCs, or maybe you just have a different measure of time. One more round. Inhale, dropping down into your cow. Exhale, rounding up through your cat. And then coming back through our neutral tabletop. And maybe walk your knees a little bit wider apart if that feels okay. Let's curl our hands just a little more forward so they're not like straight up and down. We've got like a little diagonal from wrist to shoulder. So now let's take our big breath in just like before, breathing in for that full 3 or 4 counts. And then as you exhale, breath remains steady, melt back into child, using the full length of your breath to melt hips towards heels, heart and forehead towards the floor. Good. And when we're ready, we'll inhale, no rush, no hurry, taking the full count of our breath to come back into table. And then exhale right back into our child, Balasana. And then notice what it feels like to move with your breath in this manner. If it's kind of like rubbing your belly and patting your head, it feels like you're doing too many things at once. If you need to drop one, that's okay. Take it one more round, breathing in, coming forward. 3, 2, 1. Breathing out, child's. 3, 2, 1. Good. Now we're going to hold in our child's pose. So lots of options here. Option 1, you can bring your knees really wide apart, melting your belly in between your thighs. Or maybe it feels a little better today to bring your knees together and instead drape your belly over your thighs, just giving your belly a soft place to land on top. Options for your arms, you can crawl your hands more forward, finding lots of length here in your side bodies. You can also bend your elbows, creating a little pillow to rest your forehead softly on top. Or maybe find a little extra rounding through the back of your spine and start to send your hands back towards your heels, dropping forehead and chest down towards the ground. Whichever variation you've chosen, find your breath now in the backs of your ribs and lungs. Remembering that our lungs are three-dimensional, so really expand to the back side of your body. Expanding for 3, 2, 1, and releasing. Exhale. 3, 2, 1. Do that again. Breathing in, filling up the back side of your ribs and lungs. Breathing out. One more round in and out. Nice. We'll bring ourselves back forward into our tabletop, coming into our hands and knees, all fours. So let's tuck our toes into the floor, really stretch and lengthen wide through the bottoms and tops of our feet. And you can start by walking your hands back under your shoulders so you get more of a straight line from shoulder to wrist. Breathe in, stay here. Breathe out, down dog. Push into your hands, lift through your seat, and then drive through the backs of your heels, lifting sitting bones a little taller. We'll do that twice more. Inhale, come back down to your table. Knees touch the floor. Exhale, down dog. Push into your hands, lift and stretch tall through your seat. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale to table. Drop your knees down. Exhale, down dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. 1 more round. Inhale, coming down for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, lifting up, down dog. 3, 2, 1. Good. Now you can totally keep that going. If you liked that movement between the two, keep that going. Or maybe you want to hold down dog and explore it differently. It can look like taking your dog on a little walk, bending one knee, then the other, keeping strength in your hands from fingertips to palms. Maybe it feels nice to just kind of shift your weight forward, back, side to side, just getting a good sense of how you're holding your weight and your pressure in this shape. Hatha Yoga Anushanam now begins our practice of yoga. 1 more breath in. 1 more breath out. Nice. Forward fold. This can happen front, back, middle of the mat. Makes no difference to me, but we'll bring our hands and feet closer together. Let's keep a little space between our feet. So sometimes that may look like 2 fists, your fists. Sometimes that may look like a little wider. Find the strength in your feet and find a little bit of activation in your outer ankles. So instead of collapsing into the inner arches of your feet, push through the pinky toe side of your foot. But then keep a little softness in your knees, Let your belly and your thighs come a little closer towards one another. And you're welcome to keep your hands down to the ground, or maybe there's a prop that found their way under your hands, or maybe you come into a bind. A common bind is ragdoll. That looks like grabbing your opposite elbows with your hands. You can also interlace your hands behind your legs, or maybe behind your back. Keep the strength in your feet, softness in your knees, softness in your belly, softness in your face. One more breath here. Good. We're going to release our binds, put our weight back into our feet, and then slowly come to roll up to standing. Feet are strong, knees are soft. One vertebrae at a time. Slowly stack, 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 and then we stand. And at the top, we'll just take a little happy first day dance, wiggle and jiggle our hips and heart. And we'll move ourselves towards the top edge of our mat. Now we may want to grab our blocks or whatever other props you may have gathered, whether they're books or soup cans or just more pillows. Or if you have a pet that will stay still long enough, we'll bring them towards the top edge of our mat. At least we know where to find them. And we'll take that time to meet ourselves here. Here may naturally draw both hands to your heart, maybe hands to your belly, maybe both. Maybe you feel the most empowered and like yourself with your hands open by your side. And then meet yourself here. Breathing in, breathing out. Can you come back to that balanced breath? Maybe you can breathe in for 3, maybe 4 counts. Maybe somehow you've stretched your breath to 5 counts. But if you're unsure, I like to see what my inhale feels like. Breathing in as long as I can. That's comfortable. That's not forcing. And then just match your exhale. One more round, breathing in. When you need to, breathing out. And we'll add back in movement. So breath stays steady and the same. Inhale, let's reach and stretch both arms up. Eyes may look up towards your thumbs. Exhale, fold forward. Try bending your knees first, dropping belly towards your thighs, hands down towards the floor, or maybe your blocks catch them. Inhale into your halfway lift. Stretch your heart away from your hips. Exhale, fold, soft, bend in your knees, belly towards thighs. Inhale back to standing. Push down through your feet, reach and stretch tall. Eyes may look up towards your thumbs. And we'll keep this going. Little half sun A's. Exhale, fold. Uttanasanas are Sanskrit. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach and stretch tall. Eyes up, Urdhva Hastasana towards your thumbs. Take that one more round. Exhale, follow your whole breath down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach and stretch tall, eyes towards thumbs. Let's keep our arms up, but we can release our hands. And I'm going to kind of drop down to my knees, but you'll stay standing. And we'll use our left hand to grab onto our right wrist, maybe right arm. Really root down through both legs. Take an inhale and then exhale, stretch and lean over to your left side. We can take that twice more. Inhale, stand tall, root through both heels. Exhale, stretch and lean back over. Good. One more round. Inhale up. Exhale, hold here. Notice if you've collapsed a little bit in your center and then re-engage, sending your hip points forward. And think about lengthening more here through your right side versus really pulling your right arm out of its socket, right? Nobody needs you to do that. Taking one more breath. Maybe you look up towards your right elbow. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Coming back through center. And just take a moment in between things, feeling right versus left. And we'll take it to the other side. Inhale, reach up. This time, right hand's going to grab for left wrist, maybe left arm. Root down through both heels and take a little stretch and lean over towards your right side. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, lean. Think about lengthening here through your left. One more round. Inhale. Exhale. Hold here. Moving the length into your left side between ribs and hips. Softer through your left shoulder. One more breath, and maybe you look up. Inhale. Exhale. And coming back through center. And then drop both hands back down by your side. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Next inhale, reach and stretch arms up. Eyes may look up. Exhale, fold forward, dropping hands down towards the floor, maybe your blocks. Breathe in, take your halfway lift. Breathe out, step your right foot towards the back of your mat, coming down to a low lunge. Blocks are your friends, bringing the floor closer to you, and maybe your blanket or pillow slides back under your back knee. And then we'll move a bit, shifting our weight forward and back. Now you're welcome to keep your hands and your blocks still, or maybe they move a little bit with you. Option to keep your front toes down, or maybe as you shift your hips back, your front toes want to kind of peel up and back. And permission to notice, where do you feel these shapes? Right? Maybe particularly in your hamstrings, maybe somewhere in your hips. Maybe your back knee is crunching like mine is. But then notice, where do you also not feel these shapes? All right, is there something happening in your left ear? What about your left middle toe? And then we'll hold. And you choose, do you want to hold more in like a low lunge? Or do you feel more comfortable to hold in a variation of your splits prep? Find a little stillness here. One more breath in. One more breath out. And then we'll glide on forward, putting weight back into our front foot. And this is where you can take your blocks up to their highest setting if they were at a smaller one. And we'll tuck our back toes into the floor. Then now really squeeze and lift your back knee up off the ground, coming into more like a runner's lunge. Nice. And we'll put weight into our front foot, and maybe we crawl our hands a little more forward, maybe even off the mat. Breathe in. Breathe out. Step your back foot to the top of your mat. Forward fold, top. Nice. Breathe in. Stay here. Breathe out. Good. Next inhale, come back into your halfway lift. Stretch your heart from hips. Hands can be on blocks or to your legs. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to standing. Push down through your feet. Reach and stretch tall. Eyes may look up towards your thumbs. And then we'll exhale, fold forward, dropping hands back down towards the ground. Breathe in, lift halfway. Breathe out, step your left foot back, coming to a low lunge on your second side, and whichever side you didn't do. Give yourself time to find the best position for this second leg, and then we'll move a bit forward and back. And your hips may glide uniquely between these shapes. You may feel these shapes in a certain way, you may not feel them in another way, but give yourself full permission to experience this side as unique as it is. And then we'll hold, and you can hold again in either your splits prep or maybe more in your low lunge. Adjust your hands and your blocks to make this work best for you. Drop into a moment of stillness. Seeing stillness is a myth, take a big breath in, big breath out. Nice. We'll start to move our weight back into our front foot. Retuck your back toes into the floor. Squeeze and lift your back knee off the ground, coming more into our runner's lunge. You can crawl your hands more forward, putting weight into your front foot, and then step back foot up, forward fold to the top of your mat. Breathe in, lift halfway. Breathe out, fold. Inhale, reach and stretch tall. Eyes may look up towards your thumb. Exhale, fold forward. Now, let's bend our knees enough to bring our hands to the floor. And if you want to put your blocks in the lowest setting to bring the floor a little closer to you, that's a really great place to use them. And we'll end up in a high plank. So push weight into your hands. I like to bend my knees first, keep the lift in my heart, and then step one foot back, push into my hands, step the other foot back. Now, of course, your high plank can look like dropping your knees to the ground as well. But take a moment to feel into this shape, making it work best for you. And it looks like sliding your hands or feet in a different direction. That is a great thing to notice. Taking one more breath, inhale, exhale. And then we'll lower down to the ground. And maybe your knees get there first, but bend elbows towards your toes. Drop your belly, chest, and chin all the way down to the ground. Untuck your toes, and let's push the tops of our feet to the ground. And maybe feet want to walk a little wider apart if that gives your low back a little more space. Push down through the tops of your feet, down through the tops of your quads. And as you inhale next, take cobra, roll up through your heart and crown. And then as you exhale, slowly roll back down. Good. Come back into your balanced breath. So inhale, rolling up. See what that feels like to breathe in fully as you lift. And then match your exhale. Same rate, same pace, lowering down. And take that twice more. And the number's not really important. Just that we find a little bit of symmetry between up and down, between inhale and exhale. One more round. Nicely done. Now let's tuck our toes back into the floor. Come up through your tabletop. Downward facing dog. Lift through your hips. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, so we'll come back down into our tabletop. A blanket under your knees may feel nice once more. Stretch your right leg towards the back of your mat. You can start with the ball of your foot down if that feels okay. And we can shift our weight into and out of our back leg. And that may look like a forward and back motion, or maybe that's more like a circular in one way or the other. And let's pick up our right foot, adding in bigger movements to our knee, to our hip. And notice if you shift a weight more into one hand than the other, and see if you can reestablish weight in both of your hands. Let's shoot our right foot straight back, and then step or swing our right foot towards the top of our mat. Blocks are your friends, bringing the floor closer to you. And you can keep your foot wide, hands stay inside your front foot, or maybe you frame your foot, placing one hand on each side of your front leg. Keep your left hand down to the ground, maybe to the floor, maybe to a block, and we'll bring our right hand to our heart. So think length here, from left knee all the way up to your collarbones into your chest. So as you inhale, we'll twist and turn. Send your right hand towards the sky, turn your heart toward your front knee. And then exhale, unwind, bringing fingertips back to brush the floor. Again, inhale, open up, sending your heart and eyes up towards the sky. Exhale, unwind, fingertips brush. One more round. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. So inhale, coming back up, and we'll hold in the twist. So option to keep your right arm up, shoulders stacked more over your left shoulder. Or you can take a big backstroke and send your right hand towards the back of your mat, and your eyes may follow, looking towards your thumb. There's an option here for a bind. It looks like bending your left knee, pulling left toes up. Maybe right hand can reach back for your foot, maybe your ankle, maybe your pant leg. You may also catch a cramp here in the back of your left hamstrings, and it's okay to back out. One more breath. Unwind. Bringing both hands back down to the ground. Again, blocks or soup cans bring the floor closer to you. Tuck your back toes into the floor and really push down through the toes into the ball of the foot. Okay, now inhale, think pull right hip back, lift up through your heart. Exhale, think squeeze and lift your left knee off the ground. Good, again, inhale, drop your left knee, lift up through your heart and crown. Exhale, squeeze and lift your back knee. Nice, one more, inhale, drop your left knee, lift through your heart. Exhale, squeeze and lift. Good, now hold here. Strengthen up, right hip back, inner thighs in, and then crawl fingers forward and then up towards the sky, coming up to our high lunge, crescent lunge. Keep the strength here, right hip back, inner thighs in, and then really hug in towards center line. One more breath. And then we'll come back into a twist. So keep your back knee lifted. This time drop left hand to the floor, maybe a block. Revolve side angle. Send right hip back, inner thighs in, and then twist and turn back toward your front knee, reaching right arm up. Options here. Right arm can stay stacked over left shoulder, or maybe you extend right arm over your ear towards the top of your mat. Nice. One more breath. Unwind. Beautiful choices, y'all. Coming back through our lunge. And then step right knee back to meet left, tabletop. Take a moment to wiggle here. Let right and left feel as different as they feel. And maybe you want to take a little moment in child's pose, melting hips towards heels, heart towards floor. Coming right back into your breath. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more breath in. One more breath out. Okay, so we'll come back to our tabletop. Take it to the other side. Stretch your left foot towards the back of your mat. And you can start with the ball of your foot down, shifting our weight into and out of our back leg. Notice how this side already feels different. And maybe you take more like a circular approach here. And we'll pick up our left leg a little more, adding in movements to our knee, to our hip. And we'll step in, swing our left foot forward. And it can be more of a dragon's lunge, left foot wide. Or maybe we frame our foot. This time, right hand stays to the ground, maybe a block inside our front leg, and we'll bring our left hand up towards our heart. So think a really long line here from right knee all the way up to your heart, all the way up to your crown. Now let's extend that line. Inhale, reach and stretch left arm up, eyes follow hand. Exhale, unwind, fingertips may brush the floor. Take that twice more. Inhale, open, eyes can follow. Exhale, unwind. One more round. Inhale. Exhale. Coming back into our twist, and we'll hold. Same options as before. You can keep left arm stacked over right, or you can take the big back stroke towards the back of your mat. Eyes may follow towards your left thumb. You can try for the bind on this side, kicking right foot up. Ooh, catch what you catch here. One more breath. Unwind, come back through center. And this time we'll frame our front foot, maybe bring it more center. Tuck your back toes into the floor. Good, now pull left hip back, squeeze inner thighs in, and then we'll inhale, think lift and lengthen our spine. Exhale, squeeze and lift our right knee off the ground. Good, again, inhale, drop your right knee down, think lift in your heart. Exhale, keep that length, squeeze and lift your right knee off the ground. One more round, inhale, exhale. Good, now keep back knee lifted, coming up into high lunge, sweep fingers forward and then up towards the ceiling. Keep the strength here, left hip back, inner thighs in. One more breath in, one more breath out. And lower back down. Hands to the ground, right knee to the floor, left knee meets right. Breathe in, stay here. Breathe out, child's pose. Melt hips towards heels, heart towards floor. Notice how and if this child's feels different than it did a moment ago. Can you balance your breath here? Inhale, exhale. One more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Nice. Coming back forward into our tabletop. Downward facing dog. Push into your hands. Tuck toes. Lift through your seat. And notice if this shape's feeling any different for you in this moment. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good. Now let's bring our feet towards our hands. Toes come towards the top edge of our mat. And walk your feet a little wider than hips distance. Turn your heels in, toes turn out. And we'll drop down into Malasana. So you may place something under your seat. And if you have blocks, right, this is a great height. You could literally sit on anything else. You could also sit on a chair or any type of table that you have nearby. Now, I would recommend finding a way to get your feet flat to the mat. And again, just notice, right? Do your arches, inner arches naturally kind of fall in? And if they do, that's cool. You're not alone. See if you can push down through your big toe and actively push your outer ankles out. And now hands can draw up to your heart and maybe you hinge forward. And if it feels okay, you can slide elbows in between your knees and just gently encourage a little bit more space. Okay, now careful not to collapse your heart in on itself and keep lifting heart up towards your thumbs. So let's find our balance breath here. So breathe in, see what that feels like. How long can you steadily, comfortably breathe in? And match your exhale to that. It's not a contest, not even within yourself, right? This is a completely different shape than any other shape that you've taken thus far. So there's really no comparison. See what feels good in your inhale and simply match your exhale. 3 more breaths. Last one. Well done. And to release, we can walk our hands back down and work on peeling our hips up. And it may feel nice to walk your feet a little wider apart, find like a little sway of your hips. We'll come back into one more downward facing dog. Press your hands to the mat, step feet back. Breathe in. Breathe out. And we'll come back into our high plank. And knees can stay lifted, or it may feel a little less stressful to drop your knees back down. And find your balanced breath. See what it feels like to breathe in, totally different shape. And then simply match your exhale to that breath. 2 more. Hatha Yoga Anushanam. Now begins our practice of yoga. One more. And we'll lower down to the ground. Bend your elbows towards your toes. Drop belly, chest, chin, all the way down to the ground. And we're going to slide up into a Sphinx pose. So if you want to bring your feet wider apart, that may feel best for your low back. And for Sphinx, I like to bring my elbows slightly in front of my shoulder so I get like a more diagonal line from shoulder to elbow. Gonna let's really push down through our feet, like whole foot from big toe to pinky toe. And then really push down through your hands, down through your elbows. And then imagine that you could keep pushing down through hands and elbows and start to slide the floor to you. But instead of the floor moving, hopefully, you use that little bit of traction to get a little more lift in your spine. And from here, it may feel nice to look from one side to the next, just letting all those little pops and creaks move from your neck and your ears. You may feel a desire to kind of move in some different directions. Good. One more breath in, one more breath out. And we'll lower down to the ground. You can use your arms as pillows for a moment, dropping your forehead down. We call this crocodile makarasana. So if it feels okay, you can turn your toes out, drop heels in. And just really drop your weight down, down, down to the ground. And that may look like a little wiggle in your hips, wiggle in your heart. Come back to your balanced breath. See what feels good in your inhale. New shape, new experience, no comparison. And then simply match that to your exhale. Hatha Yoga Anushanam now begins our practice of yoga. New shape, new breath, new now. 3 more breaths. Last one. Nice. Then it may feel nice to pick up your feet. Just find some little windshield wipers from side to side. You can always bring your knees a little wider apart if that feels better in your back. And we're going to make our way onto our backs. And you can keep your head in the same general direction that it is, and we'll just flip on over like a little pancake. And we still have a bit more of our guided practice to go, but for right now, we'll just take up a bit of space. You can come into really any position that makes good sense for you. Lying on your back, knees can be straight, knees can be bent. They can be still, they can be in some little slight movement. Just take a breath in, take your breath out. Again, breathe in, breathe out. Now let's take some more of those active bridge poses like we did at the beginning of class. To rebend your knees, feet to the floor, knees up towards the sky. And so options this time. You can either keep your hands rooted and grounded like we did before, or maybe you add your arms moving to your hips moving. So it's an inhale, push down through your feet, lift through your hips, maybe hands lift with you, maybe fingertips touch the floor, lifting through your heart. Then exhale, everything lowers back down. Same pace of your breath. And we'll keep this going. See what feels good in your inhale. Maybe you're able to expand your capacity a little bit more. And then we'll match our exhale to that same steady few more rounds. Last round. In and out. Let's take happy baby. So pick your feet up towards the sky, flexing feet towards the ceiling. We could reach our hands up and maybe they catch the outside of our feet. Maybe they catch the outside of our ankles or legs or knees a little easier. It may feel nice to do some little gentle rocking from one side to the next. And then you may prefer a little stillness. Breathing in, breathing out. Hatha Yoga Anushanam. One more breath. So let's release our feet. Hug our knees in towards one another. It may feel nice to pick your head and shoulders up off the mat. Squeeze in just a little tighter. And then relax your head and shoulders down. And we'll send our knees over to our left, coming into a twist. You can always place a blanket or block or pillow, whatever you got, either between your knees or underneath your left knee. We'll really open up and extend to our right, anchoring down to our right shoulder blade. Supine twist. Breathe into your low belly, low back. One more breath. Coming back through center. Breathe in, breathe out. And we'll twist in the opposite direction. So send your knees over to your right. Again, block can go in between your knees or maybe underneath your right, bringing the floor closer to you. And we'll open up, anchoring down to our left. Breathe in, low belly, low back. One more breath. Unwind, coming back through center. Let's give ourselves a full body stretch, reaching hands and feet away from one another. It may feel nice to roll through your wrists and ankles. Again, just noticing how much you've grown. And we'll curl into a tight little ball. Hug your knees towards your nose. Squeeze your nose towards your knees. Squeeze a little tighter. Squeeze, squeeze, tighter still. Hugging knees towards nose. Hug in tightest. 3, 2, 1. And release into a position you would like to rest in comfortably for a few minutes. You may rest best here on your back. You may instead prefer to roll to your side or back over onto your belly. You can use any props that are nearby to help you feel nice and supported. Coming into the position that supports you best. Give yourself a really big breath in and a really big breath out. Shavasana. Rest and receive. And let's breathe in and we'll breathe out. And drop into your bones, feeling their strength, stability, support. Breathe a bit deeper. Inspiring little movements in your fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, arms and legs. In your own way and time, slowly wake up. Then we'll all eventually sit up. As you're moving, can you simply notice how do you feel? Checking back in with all your little parts and pieces. Find yourself into a seat that you can be in comfortably. We're going to spend our last minute of this practice simply sitting and breathing. You can support your hips, you can support your knees, maybe a little both. You may feel best to turn your palms down. It may feel better to turn them up. You can do one of each. We'll simply take these next 60 seconds to just sit and breathe. Breathe in. Breathe out. 60 seconds begins right now. Let's gather our hands together towards our heart. Maybe palms touch like a prayer, maybe one over the next, more like a promise. Let's sit up just a little taller. Breathe in. Breathe out. Optional Om. Inhale. Om. Drop your chin towards your chest. Hatha Yoga Anushanam. Now begins our exploration into these practices of yoga. Finding gratitude for all the teachers and students and hearts who have taken this journey together.